Hi everybody, I'm Hannah. Today's video is all about Celine's Bois Dormant, and I have a little 10 ml mini bottle that was sent to me after they got my initial order wrong. So I had ordered a bottle of night clubbing, and then they sent me out to California instead, and I hadn't opened my bottle. I hadn't even unwrapped the cellophane, and when I opened my box I immediately checked the bottom of the bottle and it was the wrong one. And then I called to have them exchange it, and I asked them what they would be doing to make it up to me. And so they sent me Bois Dormant as well as a few samples of their other perfumes. They should have sent me samples anyways, because that was something that they had said they were going to do when they sent me my bottle initially, but there were no samples in that initial order, just the wrong perfume. So that is how I ended up with this little 10 ml bottle, and really enjoying it. I've worn it a few times since I got it, and I mean, I like it enough to keep on wearing it, so I will continue to do that. I did decant some for myself so that I could spray it on myself quite easily. So Bois Dormant is supposed to be the daytime counterpart to black tie. Black tie is a powdery vanilla perfume. It's heavier, it's more cozy, it's more warm, better suited for cooler summer nights or for winter, just cooler weather in general. And Bois Dormant is completely different from that because it's more fresh and sparkling, and it's absolutely perfect for daytime. If black tie is supposed to be what you wear to a formal event or to a dinner, or when you feel like you're getting dressed up, then Bois Dormant definitely feels more office safe or more safe for just like day-to-day interactions with people. Bois Dormant in French means sleeping wood in English, and the woods really are asleep in this perfume, because when I spray it or dab it initially, I don't get a whole bunch of woods when I smell this. This is not your quintessential woodsy perfume. It's not like a Santal 33 or like any of the other, like any of the Tom Ford woods perfumes. It's quite different than that, where the woods are hidden throughout the perfume and not really what the fragrance opens with. Bois Dormant, I think, also refers to the title of a fairy tale, and that is La Belle, what is it called? La Belle au Bois Dormant, which means the beauty of the sleeping woods or sleeping forest, depending on which way you look at it. And it's a reference to Sleeping Beauty. So when Sleeping Beauty fell asleep, the forest also went to sleep, and the animals went to sleep, and all of nature really went to sleep when Sleeping Beauty went to sleep. And you can see that as them going to sleep in solidarity with her, or them going to sleep because she was asleep, as a reaction to that even. So that's kind of what's in my mind when I read Bois Dormant. Bois Dormant is like the sleeping woods, but there's something in the heart of the sleeping woods, and that is Sleeping Beauty. So what is the belle in this case? Is the belle the perfume, or is the belle other notes that are in this perfume? What we know is that all the Celine perfumes are tied together with the note of ORRIS, right? Or iris. They're all quite powdery, and this one is no exception. I kind of feel like this perfume in particular references a really well-known, well-loved iris perfume, and that is Prada's Infusion de Ris. And here is my bottle that I have. Infusion de Ris initially came out in 2007. I have a older version, and this is an eau de parfum, which is the concentration that it was initially launched in. They did bring it out in an eau de toilette and an absolute, and a light version also, but I have the original. And the opening of Infusion de Ris and Bois Dormant, The openings are uncannily similar, I would say. They still both have a bright, refreshing mandarin, orangey kind of note. They both have neroli. Infusion du Riz is more of an ode to the iris plant, like the entire iris plant. It's, you know, the sparkling top notes are more like the flower, and then there's galbanum, which is like the grassy green shoots of the iris, and then you do get a rootiness, an earthiness, a bit of a powdery nature, and that comes from the actual roots, and that is what we get our ORRIS concrete from. So Infusion du Riz is a really well-known, well-loved perfume. I've had it in my collection forever, and Bois Dormant, I feel like, borrows that opening so that you are reminded of it, and then it goes into the more Celine direction. You know, Celine perfumes are a little bit cozier. They're definitely way more powdery, so they really reference and rely on that ORRIS note quite heavily. But the opening is just so similar, and I feel like either Bois Dormant, the perfume, the juice, the opening is the belle in the forest, or maybe this perfume is La Belle in Bois Dormant, because nobody really talks about Infusion du Riz that much that I know of. So I did wear Infusion du Riz on one arm today, and I wore Bois Dormant on the other arm, and I could kind of compare the differences. I feel like Bois Dormant has a similar opening to Infusion du Riz, but they've really punched it up with ambroxan, so it's a lot more sweet, and the dry down is a vanilla cedar and ORRIS blend, so it's woodsy, but it's also cozy, it's also powdery, it's a little makeup-y. I didn't really get any violet or anything like that, but I do get, you know, that familiar powdery vanilla Celine DNA, and that is quite different from Infusion du Riz. Infusion du Riz is greener, it is fresher, it's not as long lasting, but it also doesn't have ambroxan in it. It kind of has a clean, polished, soapy kind of vibe to it, and you know, I really like that, because if you want to feel clean and put together, especially if you're in an environment that's very hot and very humid, this is a great perfume for that. And probably why I pull this out in the summer or in the springtime, because it really lends itself to warmer weather. Bois Dormant is not soapy at all. Definitely doesn't have the same musks, so it's not as clean feeling. It's still, I think, office safe, office appropriate, perfect for day-to-day wear, but it does feel a little bit warmer, a little bit heavier than Infusion du Riz. It has better projection, better lasting power. It's much more modern, to me at least, and kind of an updated version of Infusion du Riz. So do I think that this is an updated or a counterpart to black tie? Maybe. You know, I can see how black tie is better suited for a night out, and how Bois Dormant is better suited for daytime wear. So maybe in that sense, they are, you know, counterpoints to each other. I don't think that this is as heavily reliant on the vanilla as black tie is. And, you know, I think that you could like one without liking the other. So if you're a fan of black tie, I don't think that necessarily means that you will enjoy this one as well. But I do think that if you like Infusion du Riz and you want a different version of it, you should try Bois Dormant, because the opening is so similar. If you feel like you're not interested in Bois Dormant anyways, and you already have Infusion du Riz, then maybe just pass on it, because really, if you have this one, this is like old school now. It's so heavily referenced. It's, you know, well respected in the perfume community. If you already have this, I would just really enjoy this and wear this, because this is a really beautiful perfume. I don't need something that's going to last a long time. I don't need projection. I'm okay with scents that wear closer to the skin. So I would be very content with my bottle of Infusion du Riz. However, I will say that a few times when I've worn Bois Dormant, I have enjoyed the dry down so much that I've actually been wearing more and more and more, so that I could enjoy the scent bubble that I get when I wear Bois Dormant. I love how it just makes me feel like I'm getting a hug, and it's very confident, but it's confident in the way that when you are confident, you don't need to be over the top. You can just be yourself. You don't have to be the loudest vessel or the loudest person in the room. You can just really be secure in knowing that you are right all the time. So that's what Bois Dormant says to me. This is just like a very classy, bougie kind of daytime perfume. It makes me almost feel like a person that would wear this would shop at like an all organic grocery store. And that is not me. I might seem like that person, but I definitely don't have time to do that. This just makes me feel like this person, you know, does Pilates and goes to an exercise class every single day and shops at like a Whole Foods or some sort of like crazy organic market, maybe the Italian store, someplace like that, and really is confident and secure and not really worried about finding their way through the world. Like things are just gonna fall into place and it's gonna be fine. That's what Bois Dormant makes me think of. I love it. Will I need a larger bottle? I don't think so. Yeah, I just don't think so. I really do find the base and the dry down very, very addictive. But just because it references Infusion du Riz so heavily, I don't think that I need both in my collection. Do you need both in your collection? I think that's up to you to decide. Really depends on how much perfume you have and how much you wear. And I mean, I almost think that Bois Dormant is a good nighttime version of Infusion du Riz. So if you feel like you wear this during the day and you want to amp it up for nighttime, I can see how Bois Dormant would be like the next step. If you don't like the heaviness of black tie, I really suggest that you try this, because it does have a lightness to it and the top notes are really zesty and effervescent. They're almost like a sparkling grape juice or something like that. Like they are tart and they make your mouth pucker and they just smell so good. And that's, I think, what what's the word I'm looking for? That's what really you know, grabbed people when they first smell Infusion du Riz, is those sparkling top notes. They really, really are fresh and different. The other thing that I want to touch on is Infusion du Riz also has a dry down with incense and benzoin, and so it's definitely nowhere close to being as sweet, and the dry down is more thoughtful, and it kind of makes you feel like you could be in a meditative kind of mood. And that's different because it starts off somewhere else. Like it starts off sparkly and fresh, and then the dry down is still a clean, but like a meditative kind of clean with that benzoin and frankincense. So I hear that older versions have, well, this is a pretty old version, but the first versions have a lot of incense. They are a lot cleaner. I haven't smelled the most recent version that's at the counters now, but the last time I was traveling, I did spray on Infusion Dormant, and the dry down was almost exactly the same as Infusion d'Oris. It was actually kind of unfortunate because I was looking forward to something else, and then it just seemed exactly the same to me. Yeah, this is a beautiful perfume, very easy to find. It's probably at full retail half the price of Bois Dormant. A bottle of Celine perfume, a 100 ml bottle in Canada right now, retails for $367, including tax. So I guess $350 without tax. So tax depending on where you live, right? And Infusion d'Oris, you can pay full retail and get a bottle for around $200, or you can easily find a used bottle out there because this has been around forever and people do buy it and resell it. So if you want to try this, definitely look for a sample or go to a department store and you'll be able to easily sample this. Celine perfumes are only available at Celine stores, most places around the world. In Canada, you can also order them through Holt Renfrew, so you can get them on the phone. They won't be available online because if you go online, you can only get them at the Celine website and the Celine store in person. If you go in person, if you're able to go in person, I know there's a store at Yorkdale Mall, you can request samples. They don't have them out, they don't offer them, but you can definitely say that you're interested and you can score yourself samples quite easily. They do a whole checkout process because they track their samples, which is good. I'm totally in support of that. So if you're in the city, definitely get yourself a sample and see if you like it. I don't think that you should blind buy anything, and I don't think either of these are safe blind buys. Not everybody likes powdery scents, and the dry down of this is quite powdery. Infusion d'Oris is quite soapy, so this would be safe if you like soapy scents. Not everybody likes soap, but if you like soapy scents, you probably have something that's fresh and clean and soapy already, but definitely have a smell of the top notes of this and top notes of this. They're so close. Okay, the other thing that people talk about before I leave is that they've said that Bois Dormant reminds them of Dior I think Dior Intense and Dior I don't get either of those at all. I don't think they're anything alike. I think that if Dior is your only iris in your collection, it's the only thing you've smelled that's powdery and irisy, then that's going to be your reference. But if you've smelled lots of other things, then you will see that they are quite different. I love iris as a note, and so I have room in my collection for all the different iterations. Dior I have Dior Intense, and I've spelled Dior many times. Dior Intense, at least, has that cocoa or cacao note, and so it's like slightly leaning gourmand in its powder, and I don't get that from Bois Dormant because the cedar comes through, and the dry, pencil shaving note that people used to describe cedar with that ORRIS is just like beautiful, and I love this. I love it for what it is. Yeah, definitely unisex. I don't think that either of these really veer in one direction. I think anyone can wear them. This because it's so soapy, clean, refreshing, and this because it is just a beautiful scent, but also with that same refreshing beginning of the fragrance. And then night clubbing also I think is unisex. I really think that so far from what I've tried, and I haven't sampled all of them, so far from what I've tried, all of them smell unisex. I have tried Black Tie, Parade, night clubbing, of course, this one, La Peau Nue. That one seemed a little bit feminine, but I didn't really like that one, so I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. Yeah, so far. I have a sample of Reptile, And I have a sample of Eau de Californie. Eau de Californie also, I think, is unisex. It's really beautiful, really easy to wear, very, very fresh. I will at some point post first impressions, just haven't gotten around to trying all of them because I've really been enjoying Bois Dormant actually since I got it. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. If you've tried this, let me know what you think. Let me know if you would get both. I wouldn't, like I said, but I have no judgment if you think that you need both in your collection because they are different enough. And yeah, I will see you soon. Bye-bye.